Hi class, this is Julia Head and this is my midterm lab report video for the experiment that I did. So the title of my experiment is Why and When Do Strawberries Go Spoiled? So the reason why I wanted to do this was originally my plan was to see whether organic or non-organic strawberries in refrigeration, which one would go bad faster, because my mom always says that organic food goes bad faster than non-organic because there's no preservatives and stuff, but I want to test it out. But unfortunately, I couldn't find organic strawberries at the grocery stores that I went to, so I had to change it up a little bit, and I said I did which one goes faster by like growing mold on room temperature or in refrigeration. So that's the problem that I'm trying to answer, is which one will go bad faster. My hypothesis for this experiment, I just have it written down because I haven't memorized it. If two strawberries are studied, one taken out of the carton and put in room temperature, and then one left inside the carton with the other strawberries and put in the fridge, the one room temperature will grow mold faster, and this is based off the fact that most, if not everyone, knows that refrigeration helps keep things fresh longer. But with this experiment, I wanted to figure out why, so that's what I found out in my research, which I will go over in my results and stuff. So the materials that I used, it was a very simple experiment. I just used Wish Farms strawberries. I just found them at the grocery store. And one thing that I found to be interesting is I got two different kinds because I was buying strawberries anyways because they're my favorite fruit and I eat them all the time. But I went to Trader Joe's and they had one brand in refrigeration and the Wish Farms weren't in refrigeration, which I found kind of weird because I thought strawberries would always be refrigerated. And some of the berries in other cartons already had mold growing on them, which was interesting. So I had to find one that didn't have any, obviously, to do my experiment. And then the only other, I guess, items that I used were the mini fridge in my dorm room and the countertop above the mini fridge in my dorm room. So those are all the materials that I used, and I guess my phone because I used it to take pictures of the progress, but yeah, that's pretty much it for that. So the steps that I took for this experiment were I got the strawberries, I came home, I took one out to be the one in the room temperature, and then I picked one of the strawberries that was left in the carton to study alongside the one in room temperature. So I was looking at the same two strawberries every day, not looking at different ones in the carton because that would ruin the experiment. So I just took a picture of both strawberries on the first day, and I just monitored it throughout the 4 days, obviously, or 5 days. And then I took a picture of the two strawberries once the first one grew mold to see the difference. So I'll put those pictures in right here. The first one is the strawberry in refrigeration. The second one is at room temperature on both on the first day, and then the third and fourth is those on the 5th day. So my results were that my hypothesis was correct. The strawberry in room temperature did grow mold before the one in room temperature, but even though my hypothesis is correct, I'm going to go ahead and say that the results are inconclusive because when I was going through to the rest of the strawberries, some of them in refrigeration had grown mold on them. So because of that, even though my hypothesis was correct, I'm not 100% sure if it's true because it was correct for that strawberry that I chose to study in the refrigerator still, but the other ones, some of them had grown mold. So I'm just not 100% sure about that. But in my research for why things go bad I found that refrigeration slows down the growth of bacteria because bacteria likes to grow quickly between 40 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and basically all refrigerators are set below 40 degrees to slow down that process. And I also found out a little bit about the history of refrigeration because people found out that if they put their meat in like cold parts of caves or if they packed it in snow, it would last longer. which then started the ice industry, and people would save ice for the summer when it was obviously warmer, and then refrigeration was born. The first refrigerator came out towards the end of the 19th century. So there are two kinds of bacteria that grow on food. One is pathogenic, and that's like what gives you food poisoning and foodborne illnesses, and then spoilage, which is what causes food to spoil, which is the mold. So I found that mold, if you eat it, which is gross, but if you eat it, it can make you sick. You can have an allergic reaction. I know I'm personally allergic to mold. It's the only thing I'm allergic to. So I guess really household mold, but I mean, there's all different kinds of mold. But it's just best to stay away from it. And I was doing my research, I was looking at the USDA for like molded food and stuff, and I found that like they have a whole chart that I'll put in right here. I'll just put part of it in because it's really long. That there's, for different kinds of food, there's different protocols for if it's moldy. So like strawberries are a soft fruit with a high moisture content, so you just want to throw the whole berry away because the mold couldn't seep through the surface. But if it's like a bell pepper, you can scrape it off because it's a hard fruit or a hard vegetable, I guess. So that was interesting. And also, that if one strawberry in the carton is bad, doesn't mean they all are, because they're all separate fruits, so you can pick and choose which one to throw out, which ones that have gone bad. So to further this experiment, to make it more precise, obviously would to like do it in a laboratory with controlled temperatures and stuff, because I don't know what the temperature of my mini fridge is because it doesn't have it. It's just on the coldest setting. But you could go to a strawberry field and pick the 2 strawberries yourself, so you know the date they were picked, because it doesn't say that on the carton. So they could have been picked more than 5. They probably were picked more than 5 days. Since I had bought them, they were probably picked a couple days before and then like shipped off, if you know what I mean. Or you could also do it with other fruit. So like with the soft fruit, you could do it with 2 peaches, because those are their own unit, I guess. So unlike the strawberries that come in a set, that some of them can go moldy before others, like so what happened to me with peaches or other soft fruit, like a tangerine, I guess. Not tangerine, a nectarine. You buy them on their own, so it would make the experiment more precise. So that's pretty much it for my video. Going over again my results, I'm going to say are inconclusive. That's the conclusion that I got to, even though my hypothesis was correct. So I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, that's it. Bye!